What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Juice Beats back with another race video, and this one is right here in my backyard in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. This is the Oak Ridge Velo Classic. This is the 4-5 crit with a 180-degree turn that I had no idea how to do at first. And you'll see at the beginning I forgot to start my GPS, so it kicks in just a second. But here we are, we're on our way. Here's the first lap, just kind of vying for position here, and just trying to stick in with the peloton on this one. So I had a pretty long week, I guess the week before this race. I was only able to get about 3 workouts in, so I did a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before I had to start traveling. I was in Kentucky for a couple days, and then I was in West Virginia shooting a wedding, and came back in the morning this past Sunday just to get there just in time for the race. So I ended up getting there maybe about a couple hours early, and did some warm-up miles and rode around just trying to get used to this turn. So I was able to get on the track in between some of the races and just go around and get kind of a pre-race feel for things. One thing that I didn't know beforehand, before the race, was that you should downshift before you get to the 180-degree turn, so that you're not coming out in a lower gear and trying to grind it out, catching up to people. So that was one thing. I think I caught on to it later on in the race, but that was one thing for me that I probably should have read up on or found a video or something on. Of course, the YouTube algorithm somehow knows me and posted a video just after the race with a 180-degree turn, and I learned that. So of course that's how it would go, right? Flying through 29 miles an hour right here. Really, the course was fairly flat. I think this turn around this bend is the only real elevation throughout the whole race, and it doesn't get very much. I think 3 or 4% maybe. Wasn't too bad, and this is also my first race on carbon rims. So I bought some cheap Super Team carbon wheels and had them put on while I was gone out of town, and had a friend drop the bike off at my house once it was finished. So hadn't really had a chance to test it all that much, but I mean, they felt pretty good. Brand new tires. I got some GP 5000s on there, and everything felt pretty good before the race. I think I was maybe too rested, possibly. I don't know if that's the thing, but normally before races I'll at least put in a good amount of miles throughout the week, and just really work the legs out a little bit more than I did this past week. So taking Thursday, Friday, and Saturday off completely from the bike was a little different, but I mean, I felt pretty good going into it. So this was the only tough part, this 180-degree turn there. And you can see some of the guys not doing the same thing as me, not downshifting and then having to basically sprint to catch back up to everybody. And that takes a toll on you. The more laps you do, and the more times that you're burning those matches, it can take a toll on you. But this here is the flattest race I've done so far. This is only my third race ever. My first race had a 15 to 18% incline in the middle of it, and that was pretty tough. Plus it was 35 degrees, raining and sleeting. And you can see that one on my channel as well. That's the polecat race that was in Fayetteville, Tennessee. And then the last race that I did at Rock Hill Crit Course, the Hincapie race there, that one had a little bit of an incline towards the back stretch, and that one wasn't as steep, but it takes a toll on you after doing so many miles. But I finished in the top 20 in the polecat, I think out of 40 or so top half, and then broke a spoke in the Rock Hill Crit, and that kind of put me behind a little bit. I did get a free lap, but I think the time lapse in between, I think it was like 3 or 4 minutes of catching back up to the peloton and having to restart again, kind of jolted my energy a little bit. But I ended up finishing, I think, 30th in that out of 44, 45 or something like that. So I guess not too bad for a broken spoke. And then in this race, we will see. Right now it feels like I am falling behind the peloton a bit. And I missed this on the first lap, but the guy that just went by me actually crashed on the first lap, took a lap off, and then is back in it with us. So I guess he used his free lap to rest up a little bit. And spoiler alert, he actually finishes third. That's him in that little Trek bike. But still early in this race, about close to 3 miles in. I think we only go a little over 12 miles or so in this race. The laps are pretty quick, so I don't think the course is quite a mile around. But the turn here, definitely, you're dropping, so you're going from 30 to 35 miles an hour down this stretch, and then you're basically cruising once you hit the finish line there, and then you're slowing down to 13, 14, 15 miles an hour around this curve. And if you don't downshift, you're going to be really sprinting to get back with everybody on this. It's a slight incline, not too big, maybe a percentage or so, but you're sprinting back to get back with the peloton basically. Had pretty good weather for this day. There was a slight breeze, and I'm trying to remember, it may have been a headwind coming down the back stretch. It wasn't super strong like the winds when I was in South Carolina, but you could definitely feel it a bit. I think it prevented you from reaching maybe the 40 mile per hour mark down this stretch, but still was able to pick up some speed coming here. The one thing I think I did better in this race was sticking behind wheels. I tried to make a point of that, just try to stay with the wheel more and draft a little bit more. Coming down this stretch right here, I wasn't too worried about staying super close because I knew that we would all come together in this bunch around this curve. The thing that you'll see though that really stretches everything out is this curve. Like once you come out of it, it's the sprint to get back on the course basically together. And that's what stretches most of the field out. I think there were 28 or so signed up for the race. I'm not sure if everybody came out. Maybe a few people didn't show, but still pretty good pack. This is where I almost get taken out. I'm coming up that side there and trying to make sure I don't get taken out over the curb. I think what's different about the races that I've done so far. So at the Polecat in the 4 or 5 race, I don't believe there were any teams at all. It was a bunch of individuals doing the race. At the Rock Hill Crit, there was I think a couple teams there, and then at this one I think there's a couple teams, but really in these races it feels like everybody's kind of for themselves. There's no like teamwork or anything. It's just we're all kind of sporadic. We're all just trying to get position. We're all just sprinting to get somewhere basically. And when I watch the 3-4 races or the 1-2 races, the pros and things like that, there's a lot more tactics involved. And what I've heard about the 4 or 5 races and things is it's really just every man for himself, and you just gotta kind of gut it out until you can move up. And then there's more strategy and attacks and things involved. There were some attacks in this race, and there were some people that got off on the front, but I think they were allowed to move about for maybe a few laps, and then eventually the peloton swallowed them back up and caught up. But you can see that I think there's 4 guys going off the front at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't last too long. Maybe a few laps with them, but they eventually get caught back up. We're just cruising down the backstretch here. A cool 31 miles an hour. This is about where you throttle and then make this wide turn here. That was probably my best turn in the race, because I didn't have to sprint to catch back up to anybody. I think that may have been when I figured out to downshift, but I could be wrong. But that definitely helps when you downshift and you're able to, not be in a low gear to where you're having to grind it out. I felt like I was moving up at this point. I was doing a good job staying with the peloton. They weren't getting away. What's crazy is I looked at the roster for this race, and I'm 37, and I'm the second oldest in this race. I think there was another guy that's he's 49 or 50, but or actually no, I think he's 59. Excuse me. And yeah, so I was the second oldest in this race at 37. The rest of the guys were either low 30s or in their 20s. It looks like those guys are still on their little breakaway, but not super far away from everybody. So we're about, I think, 6 laps to go here, and peloton's starting to pull off from me a little bit. But I knew with the turn that it would kind of come back together, and I burn a match to kind of sprint back and get back on a wheel here. But everything's starting to get stretched out a little bit more. I think after looking at this, if I stay up closer to the front here and not play around at the back, I'm not getting spit out of the back here. I'm gonna be sitting much better and not having to work so hard to get back into everybody. I think at this point I'm dying because I had to burn a match to try to get back on this guy's wheel, and then he's falling off the back too, and now the peloton is starting to take off on us. 5 more laps, and yeah, I've fallen off the back. The 4 guys are still up front on their breakaway. Peloton hasn't caught up to them yet. And I'm just trying to stay with it. Oh, and if you're looking at the map in the top right corner at all, the arrow is off for some reason. I think something with the software messed up and it goes all over the place. But I think the speed and everything is correct. And for the most part, it's on where it should be, but it kind of jumps around a bit. So I keep thinking I'm not out of it yet. I'm not out of it yet. I just got to put in a big effort to get back in it. So I put in a little effort right here, probably too much on this slight incline. And I should be putting in, if I'm trying to get back, I should be putting in the big effort on this downhill straightaway section, because I know if I put in a big effort here that they're going to slow down at that 180 degree turn, and I might be able to stay with them at that point. But just didn't have it to stay with them right here. My speed is dropping, so I just didn't have enough in the tank at this point after burning so many matches. Didn't realize how much energy it takes from you, basically stopping and starting again around this curve. I was thinking to myself at this point, like, I can't believe I got dropped again. But I know that I just got to keep racing. I know this is part of getting race experience and learning the tactics, learning where to stay, where to jump in the peloton and staying behind wheels and getting better at bike handling, all that stuff. So I don't think it's a speed thing. I don't think it's an endurance or fitness thing either. Like I can ride for a very long time and not get super tired. I'm just not used to staying in with a peloton and being elbow to elbow with people, keeping significant speeds up the entire time. I think especially from my area, there's not really any race pace group rides where I could practice something like this. So anytime that I get into a race, which I've only done 3, anytime that I've got into races like this, I feel kind of unprepared for being in the peloton and racing and things like that. So it's just gonna take maybe a few more races for me to get used to it. I think I know at this point that it's over, but I'm still out there just trying to finish the race. Don't want to get pulled. I think there's already been some people that have pulled or got pulled off the course. And we've got 2 laps to go. Peloton has not caught that 4-man group, I don't believe. But you can see over there on the other side where they just come around. Those 4 are right there, and there's the Peloton right behind them. So the Peloton does catch up to them, I think, on this last lap coming up. And then there was a sprint finish. I wanted to do this race last year, but I ended up having a wedding the same day as this race, so I didn't get to jump in last year, which would have been great to have that experience ahead of time, just to know what I was getting into for the course and everything for this time. But still a great experience. I still enjoyed it. There's not many, or if any, places around the area in Knoxville or in Oak Ridge besides this area that has like a crit course laid out. I've been looking around just to see if there's a place where we could practice crits and things like that, but there's nowhere like this. And I've seen where people make 4-corner crit courses around business parks and things, but our business parks are kind of closed, so there's no way for us to go around the block in there. And I think they're just finishing over there on the left. I think I tried catching up to these guys right here at the end just to see if we could ride together, but I just did not have any energy anymore at this point. Being the second oldest and heaviest guy in the Peloton takes a toll on you when you have to burn so many matches just to stay with the back of the Peloton. So what I get from this is that I need to work on staying in the Peloton more towards the front, the top 10 spaces, and not falling back to the back where I'm getting spit out the back and then can't catch back up. I put in this little sprint at the end to get up to about 35 miles an hour, just thinking maybe I can catch them at the end, but no, they cross. And I finished 18th in this race, so not terribly great, but not terribly bad either. But it was definitely a good experience. I enjoyed getting to race in practically my hometown area, my backyard, and I look forward to doing this one again. Hopefully I'm able to do it again next year when they set this up again. Leave a like and subscribe for more race footage, and I'll be posting some more training videos as well pretty soon. I've got a couple that I did on Zwift that I'm going to do some commentary for as well. But look out for more videos, and if you like it, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, and I will see you on the next one.